Hi, everybody. It's July 15, 2021. Europe, Germany, England, Belgium, Netherlands hit really hard. I have subscribers in this area, and if you could weigh in, that would really be helpful. Just to let me know that you're okay. I don't know where you live in these countries, but man, I really hope you're doing okay, but a whole lot of people are not doing okay.
Voilà, 6 heures du matin, regardez toutes les voitures.
What you just saw, the Germany shot, that is nothing compared to what you're going to see. I hardly know what to say. Belgium.
The Belgian province of Liege was hit hard by heavy rains today on 14th of July. In some places, up to 100 liters of rain per square meter fell. The municipality was particularly affected. The streets of the city are like a river, cellars are flooded, cars are floating, and there is no electricity in some places. The residents here are looking at their houses, which are half flooded. Sandbags are still being placed, but for many of them it is too late. People are also being evacuated because it is not safe to walk on these flooded streets. Reports the journalist TN2. The Royal Meteorological Institute has announced a red code for the province and the disaster plan is now also in effect.
Belgium.
As you can see from the videos, there was severe damage. Cars being swept away, and even animals being trapped in the flooding.
There are videos that for some reason, they're the exact same video, except, did you see that animal coming from the right? Now the animal comes from the left. It's strange. Okay. Wow. The Netherlands.
These floods follow a recent trend of heavy flooding hitting other Western European countries. Rainfall causing flash flooding.
Yeah, so I am losing it in terms of listening to people and they never mention weather modification. And listening to the broadcast, the mainstream media broadcasts on this. Well, it's climate change, but they also say that this is a once in a generation flood. Really? In Germany? This is Germany. It's once in a generation. Wow. Really? Once in a generation. So then all of you in Germany who are, 40, 50 years old, you must remember the last time, right? Tell me. Tell me. You remember the last time a flood like this hit. So many areas of Germany are just literally destroyed. Bridges, roads, destroyed. Oh, let's listen to Merkel. How long has she been your queen?
Ja, meine Damen und Herren, Sie werden verstehen, dass auch hier in Washington meine Gedanken in diesen Stunden immer auch bei den Menschen in der Heimat sind, bei den Menschen, die in den Hochwassergebieten in Nordrhein-Westfalen und Rheinland-Pfalz. Und Ihnen will ich auch von hier aus ein Zeichen der Anteilnahme und der Solidarität schicken. Ich traue um die, die in dieser Katastrophe ihr Leben verloren haben. Noch wissen wir die Zahl nicht, aber es werden viele sein. Manche in den Kellern ihrer Häuser, manche als Feuerwehrleute bei dem Versuch, andere in Sicherheit zu bringen. Und ihren Angehörigen gilt meine tief empfundene Anteilnahme. Dies sind für die Menschen in den Überschwemmungsgebieten entsetzliche Tage. Meine Gedanken sind bei Ihnen und Sie können darauf vertrauen, dass alle Kräfte unseres Staates, von Bund, Ländern und Gemeinden gemeinsam, alles daran setzen werden, auch unter schwierigsten Bedingungen Leben zu retten, Gefahren abzuwenden und Not zu lindern.
Lovely. I don't believe her. She was in Washington? I didn't know that. Look at this. This. Oh, you have my sympathies. She's fine, but wow. Well, last I heard 42 dead and dozens missing. And this is Germany.
Hin abgestürzt. Wasser rüber. Weiter runter sind sogar Häuser weggeschwommen. Also es ist Notstand wie im Zweiten Weltkrieg.
I sure hope you guys in Germany get a lot more help than Americans get.
Dozens of people have died and dozens more reported missing as heavy rain and flooding inundated Western Europe. Rivers burst their banks, sweeping away cars and bringing down trees, as well as half a dozen houses. Police said at least 18 people had died and 70 were missing in the German wine-growing hub of Ahrweiler after the River Ahr burst its banks. Edgar Galessen's parents' home was damaged.
What I experienced was catastrophic. I'd been waiting for my daughter and my wife who were out and about. My daughter was on her way back from Trier. I wasn't able to reach them. Everything was down. I myself live up there. I wasn't affected, but the people down here, oh dear. Having seen how the water washed through here with tractors, gas cylinders, it's simply catastrophic.
Hundreds of soldiers were helping with the rescue efforts, using tanks to clear roads of landslides and fallen trees, while helicopters winched those stranded on rooftops to safety. The floods have caused Germany's worst mass loss of life in years. Armin Laschet, Premier of the hard-hit state of North Rhine-Westphalia and possible future Chancellor, blamed the extreme weather on global warming during a visit to the area. Torrential rain and flooding also hit other parts of Western Europe. In Belgium, around 10 houses collapsed in Pipinster, and residents were evacuated from more than 1,000 homes. Weather experts have described the rains in the region as unprecedented. As residents begin clearing up, the scale of destruction has become clear. The German Weather Service has warned more heavy rain is due in southwestern Germany later on Thursday and Friday. More reported missing.
So, it is Thursday here, and what's happening now? What's happening now? It's unbelievable. Yeah. It's believable because man is using weather as a weapon. I have to stop saying it's unbelievable because more and more places are going to be looking like this, and everybody is talking about climate change when they don't factor in the technology that man has. Yeah, we're in a war.
It's a fight against the floods. The deluge took many residents in Western Germany by surprise. There was no water around 1:30, but within half an hour it was like a big stream, completely flooded. All at once the water started flowing in. It came from over there, it flowed in here, and in no time it was up to my chest. Different parts of Germany were hit by the bad weather. In the western city of Düsseldorf, an entire housing estate with 350 apartments had to be evacuated. In the town of Altena, a firefighter was swept away by the water and drowned. In Jönstadt, close to the Czech border, a 53-year-old was caught in a flash flood. Rescue workers are still searching for him. The heavy rainfall was caused by warm and cooler air mixing. Such extreme weather can occur in summer, but it only happens rarely. The last time we saw
Meteorologist, I can't listen. I can't listen. I can't listen.
And in that area where they collapsed, a large number of other houses are also unstable and at risk of collapse. The authorities have said, and many different areas here are affected, but the German rail service has warned passengers from other parts of the country not to travel to North Rhine-Westphalia at the moment because Germany's most populous state is the worst affected because of the floods. The German rail service is urging people not to go there. And many people are talking about this situation as a disaster that happens only every few decades. Some say it's never happened to this extent, and there are reports of what's normally little streams of like 2 meters wide that are currently 200 meters wide, just so that you get an idea of the situation.
What can you report about the rescue efforts at this point? I can imagine that the conditions make it extremely difficult.
Of course, and we've heard already about those 2 firefighters who have died. One, as we heard in the report, was swept away by the water after trying to rescue a man. And many people this morning tried to find shelter in the upper floors of their houses waiting to be rescued. So, of course, the authorities have to get access to those people and provide them with food or try and rescue everything that's valuable to them from their houses. And that, of course, is hindered by those severe floods. And thousands of people have had to be evacuated. Of course, there had been warnings, but people, like we heard in the report, weren't really expecting this extent of flooding. And so there are severe warnings by the authorities to refrain from what they call disaster tourism, so not to try and go somewhere, take pictures, because many people just haven't seen pictures like this in their lifetime.
I imagine that rescue workers are literally looking to the skies for help. Is an end to the rain in sight?
Well, the weather report from this morning says that we're still expecting some rain in many areas in those affected regions, but not to the same extent, luckily, as over the past couple of hours. And in some areas, the rain has stopped already, like, for example, in that area that was mentioned in Hagen, the rain has stopped. But that, of course, means that now the water has to be cleared away, the rubble has to be cleared away, the area has to be tidied up. And that is the case in Hagen, where, incidentally, the regional leader of the affected area, Armin Laschet, who's the Conservative candidate for Chancellor, has already arrived to assess the situation on the ground, and he will talk to the press later.
Oh God, I hate it. 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 Yeah. Look, I have no one to talk to. I have no outlet, so you guys are getting it, and I apologize if you get upset. Well, I don't apologize. London.
Parts of London received a month's worth of rain in a single day yesterday, causing flash floods.
Now, we are seeing this. This is coming from a drainage system. Backed up. It's always backed up. Backed up here in America, backed up all over the world. What the hell has gone on? You know, the cattle have paid for infrastructure maintenance, and it ain't being done. You need to question that. Look at the water being spewed out. Spewed? Is that a word?
Received a month's worth of rain in a single day yesterday, causing flash floods. North and West London were the worst affected areas. Some residents were evacuated from their homes and train services cancelled, while cars were submerged in water. London Fire Brigade said it had taken more than 1,000 calls related to flooding. Tim Muffet reports.
Heavy rain. Flash floods.
You see that? Okay. We never saw that before. You know, years ago. This is what we are seeing all across the United States and in many countries. Yeah, and yes, they block the drainage systems so that what happens? It comes out and floods all of the roads. And it's one of the reasons why now we never see the water dissipating as it should. I mean, leaving areas. Streets remain flooded for days. Look at I-75 in Detroit that literally sat in like 3 feet, 4 feet of water for about 3 days. Give me a flippin' break to think that, oh, it's climate change and now the water just sits on roads.
Floods. Extraordinary results. Parts of the capital experienced torrential downpours yesterday. In northwest London, water cascaded from Hampstead Heath onto nearby Finchley Road. Cars were stranded under the Westway, the road which leads out of the city. The effect of the pressure of the water could be seen on manhole covers. Large parts of the underground network were suspended with tracks underwater. Commuters were still suffering this morning as the clear-up continued. In Maida Vale, the pumps are at work and Musa is assessing the damage to his business.
Well, this is our basement, so we're a design and build company. We're in the construction industry, and so this is sort of when we bring clients to show them samples, and yes, that's completely wrong.
Abdur runs the newsagent next door.
So you lost a lot of stock because of this flood?
Yes, definitely. A very small business, if you lose something, is very damaging by myself as well. I feel very distressed.
Business owners here say they've never seen flooding like this before, and the speed at which it happened is what's taken so many people by surprise. At Lord's Cricket Ground, rain would have stopped play, but luckily there was no play to stop. In Barnes in southwest London, for these two men, there was only one thing to do: embrace this extreme weather and the spirit of competition and have a swimming race along one of the flooded roads. Tim Muffet, BBC News.
Lovely reporting, BBC. Lovely. London.
The plugs and everything. Like we have plugs on the floor here. They're all going now. Can we not start talking about this Well, that's gonna go. Oh, that's plugged up here. But that's gonna go soon, Marion.
In case this gets flooded. This is like 15 minutes.
You're right, for sure.
Open the door, open the door!
My sister's an emergency. It's so high. It must be up to his windowsill. For these guys, it's already at the roof. It's gone above. So many people live in just basement flats. I have no idea what's going to happen.
Evil does not create, It destroys. That's all it does. That's all it friggin' does. Look, you know, people can just continue to live a delusion believing that this is all climate change without even looking. You're listening to mainstream media, meteorologists tell you this is climate change. You're listening to government officials tell you this is climate change. They are lying. So it really requires adults to grow up, mature very quickly, and do the work necessary to understand what is happening here. Why don't I ever hear anybody else post videos screaming about what's going on? People's lives are being destroyed. Wildlife is being destroyed. Animals are being destroyed. You heard those people in London talk about how quickly, well, you hear it here in the United States. Wow, well, there was nothing out there, and then suddenly 15 minutes later, I'm walking through 2 feet of water. Is something else happening? Yes, because climate change would not bring this about. If it was climate change, all of the effects would happen incrementally. It would not be a radical change. So what brings about a radical change? Man. And man has the technology to create what you're looking at. My God, you know, you guys, you know, I'm not even on my primary channel, so I don't know. Love to hear from you guys in these countries, just to let us know you're okay.